Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Treat the youth right, instead of picking up a fight. Treat the youth right, or you'll be playing with dynamite. Treat the youth right, instead of picking us a fight. Treat the youth right, or you'll be playing with dynamite. When you go and look for a job, there is no one giving you a try. Like they want you to go and rob, and we know that that's not right. Treat the youth right, instead of putting up a fight. Treat the youth right, or you'll be playing with dynamite. So if you treat the youth right, instead of giving us a fight. Or if you treat the youth right, or you'll be playing with dynamite. All the boys and girls of today, yes, the man and woman of tomorrow. Take me to the work that I say. All your days you'll be filled with sorrow. Treat the youth right, instead of putting up a fight. Cause if you treat the youth right, you would be sitting on a bum. From the first resurrection, now we live in the second resurrection. What we do from the first generation, now we live to the fifth generation. Treat the youth right, instead of giving us a fight. Treat the youth right, or you'll be playing with dynamite. So if you treat the youth right, instead of giving us a fight. And if you treat the youth right, or you'll be playing with dynamite. The ways and the prudence, no reveal to the dead and silence. Never living from the high school student, now reveal to the kings and queens. Treat the youth right, instead of picking up a fight. And you can treat the youth right, or you'll be playing with dynamite. Treat the youth right, instead of putting up a fight. Treat the youth right.
Treat the youths right, Jimmy Cliff. Before that, Proverbs 22, verse 6 from the King James Version. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Another of our gems in this Child Month 2023. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 5th day of the 5th month of 2023, the International Year of Millets. A millet is a cereal grown in warm countries and regions with poor soils, bearing a large crop of small seeds, which are chiefly used to make flour. 2023 is also the International Year of Dialogue as a guarantee of peace. It's Hurricane Preparedness Week in the United States. The American Hospital Association and affiliated American health organizations are marking May as Mental Health Awareness Month, Stroke Awareness Month, Arthritis Awareness Month, Better Hearing and Speech Month, Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month, Global Employee Health and Fitness Month, Healthy Vision Month, Hepatitis Awareness Month, Melanoma, Skin Cancer Detection and Prevention Month, Asthma and Allergy Awareness Month, Celiac Disease Awareness Month, High Blood Pressure Education Month, Osteoporosis Awareness and Prevention Month, Lupus Awareness Month, Physical Fitness and Sports Month, Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month, and Older Americans Month. The month of May is also being observed here in Jamaica as Child Month and National Exporters Month, Lupus Awareness Month, Education Month, and Workers Month. It's Cinco de Mayo in the USA, also known as the Battle of Puebla, Constitution Day in Kyrgyzstan, Coronation Day in Thailand, Indian Heritage Day in Guyana, Kodomo no Hi, or Children's Day, marking the end of Golden Week in Japan. It's Children's Day in South Korea. The people in the Czech Republic are remembering Kvetnovo Povstani Českého lidu, the 1945 uprising in Prague. It's Senior Citizens Day in Palau and Nationale Bevrijdingsdag, or Liberation Day, in the Netherlands. It's International Midwives Day. Hoy es viernes, el 5 de mayo 2023, y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones, y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est vendredi le 5 mai 2023 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être votre service pour une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Friday, the 5th of May, 2023, and we greet you well wherever in the world you are listening to us right now, we remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to both sides of the story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Hours away from the coronation of King Charles, and there's a video that was shared with us by Dorrit Allen, who is in Canada, or at least had, well, sourced this video from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC. We'll play the tape for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. ISA Trust Foundation, Couples Resorts, RGI Argentina and Digicel Business present An Evening with Michael Bolton, featuring reggae stars Kimani Molly and Taurus Wiley, and hosted by Wayne and Tammy Mitchell. Saturday, May 27 at Couples Sanssouci in Ocho Rios. Tickets $250 US, inclusive of food and drinks. All proceeds to support building the Mary Issa Pediatric and Adolescent Health Center. Purchase tickets online at issatrustfoundation.com and at select ticket outlets. It's the all-inclusive concert experience of the year, an evening with Michael Bolton, sponsored by CPJ, JN Group, WATA, Richmond Estates, and the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport. To learn more, follow us on social media at ISA Trust Foundation.
Join HML Agro for its inaugural Farm and Garden Market this Saturday, May 6th at the HML Head Office, 697 Spanish Town Road. Lots of exciting features and activities. Farmers Market, exotic bare root orchid varieties, pet grooming, exclusive deals and discounts, product sampling, and more. HML Agro Farm and Garden Market is brought to you by Sagicor, National Distribution, HML Rapid True Value, Newport Firsan, and Peruge Distributors. This Saturday, May 6th, HML Agro Farm and Garden Market. See you there.
So here's the report from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, with respect to the coronation of King Charles III, and the headline being Jamaica to cut ties with monarchy.
At this bar in Kingston, no one really cares about King Charles's coronation. He's the king of Jamaica too, but to a lot of people here, that makes no sense.
If I need to go to the UK right now, I need a visa. Things like that makes me look on the head of state, and I'm asking, like, what's the purpose?
I think it's time for us to address it as a nation. We should move past the monarchy and become autonomous.
Jamaica is set to be the first domino of Charles's reign to fall, the country planning to ditch the monarchy, a reckoning for centuries of slavery under British rule.
We're not that big.
At Immaculate Conception, an all-girls high school in Kingston,
Are you guys going to watch the coronation? No. I didn't even know that was happening.
these students want a head of state who looks like them.
Princes, princess, kings are from fairy tales, and fairy tales are like really old, really old. And we're in the modern day where I can be on my laptop, my phone, etc. Why am I seeing like teen?
Summer Lee, Tony Ann, Jade, and Dana are all old enough to vote in the referendum the government is planning on removing Charles as head of state by 2025.
we'd like to have our own Caribbean identity. And I feel like the presence of a monarchy really impedes that. It's like hanging over Jamaica, that kind of thing, like holding us back and keeping us from further progress.
Do you feel like this is kind of a moment of change, a turning point moment in Jamaica?
Definitely. I mean, from what we've been discussing, it kind of just frees us from the Eurocentric hold that is on us. It is a turning point, but there's more to be done here. There's definitely more to be done, because I don't think just removing them can take away the years of slavery and the mental slavery from colonialism that came after.
The royal family was tied to the slave trade from the very beginning. The Royal African Company that forced people here operated under a royal charter from King Charles II. And many of the people brought here were branded, literally burned with the letters DY for the then Duke of York, who ran the company.
To the royal family and many persons in the British government, both past and present, have been deeply involved in gaining wealth from the atrocity which happened on these beaches.
Dave Goss, director of the Institute for Caribbean Studies at the University of the West Indies, is angry that there's never been a reckoning for any of it.
There are times when, like, my grandparents sang "Rule Britannica, Rule the Wave." Today we no longer sing that.
Even when emancipation finally came, the enslaved got nothing. Instead, £20 million, nearly $30 billion today, was paid out to slave owners by the British government for their loss of human property.
What we really want
Report on Jamaica and the monarchy. We'll see how that unfolds as we get ready to take your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5. 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can also call us on WhatsApp. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Uncle Dervan. Malcolm. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm great so far. How is the day going so far, Uncle? How is life?
We're giving thanks for life.
Yes, I'm here taking it easy. Only calling to hail you up and say hi to you. You are Mr. Professor and you are Mr. Educator.
And you have another of the children, as usual, trying to take away the attention from you.
Hold on, you're hearing me now? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
You are Mr. Professor and Mr. Educator.
Thank you very much.
Yes, take care.
Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon. It's been ages. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you very much, Dervan. Always a pleasure speaking to you. I am quite impressed with your continued high standard of this program. Congratulations as per usual.
Thank you.
When persons perform at a very high and professional level consistently in this framework broadcasting for yourself, I think it is always warranted to say congratulations and to always encourage you to continue the outstanding work on this program. Thank you so much for playing that interesting segment from the CBC, I think it is.
Yes, CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
Quite instructive. I would like to discuss with you this afternoon two issues. One has to do with crime and the other constitutional reform. I have a few suggestions which I'd like to posit, and hopefully you and your listeners will find them at the very least interesting. Like many other residents of St. James,
Sorry, before you go on, one moment, please, as we take this break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to health and wellness. Your one-stop place to power a healthy lifestyle. How can we help you to power your health? You can reach the show anytime by calling 876-922-4112 or by sending a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's Powering Your Health. Powerful health and wellness discussion and interaction. This and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Only on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Thanks for holding. Please continue.
thank you so much, Dervan. Yes, I am referring to the serious crime problem here in St. James, where I'm calling from. The crime, murders, lottery scamming still taking place at a high level, believe it or not, based on what I know. Drug trading and the serious organized criminal gangs that are operating throughout the parish. In fact, several printed media reports over the past 12 months have indicated that the parish of St. James has now developed a track record in that they have some very sophisticated and high technology and well-connected criminal gangs operating in various networks across the parish and in other sections of Western Jamaica, which is cause for concern and is having an extensive negative impact and effect upon the parish in Western Jamaica, bloodshed, violence, murders, etc. What is urgently needed at this time is for the hard-working Police Commissioner, Major Anderson, Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitzgerald in charge of the crime portfolio, the JDF Chief of Staff, and the Director of the Army's Military Intelligence Unit to devise, tabulate, and implement Dervan a well-coordinated strategy which will infiltrate these St. James criminal gangs, which are very dangerous, with incognito operatives from the police and the army, allow them to gather the intelligence and evidence on these gangsters and gang leaders, arrest them, bring them before the court, and have them convicted in the courts under the Anti-Gang Act and also under the Proceeds of Crime Act. Having said that, I think the police deserves commendation in having the Anti-Gang Act. But the situation in St. James warrants action. I see that the police can make intelligence, satellite intelligence on these gang leaders and drug barons. Much more usage, I think, can be made of the wiretapping act. I understand that very limited usage, or should I say much more usage can be made of this very important law. from the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Office in Montego Bay and the Move West Office in Montego Bay, which serves the entire Western Jamaica. They are short-staffed and they need an increase in budget of approximately 100% based on what I see happening. It would seem to me, Dervan, also, that the police and the army need to understand that when it is brought to their attention that drugs, guns, and ammunition and other contraband are discovered at wharves and the ports in Jamaica, instead of jumping, for want of a better word, to seize these drugs, guns, and ammunition, no one is held. It would seem to me that the far more intelligent way to proceed would be to wait and to discover who it is that are collecting these and then apprehend them and to further proceed to investigate and arrest the masterminds who are involved in these importations. There is one law for the powerful in Jamaica and one law for the ordinary person in Jamaica.
Well, I would imagine you're speaking hypothetically, in a sense, because obviously there's no such thing as one law for Jamaica and one for the rich and one for the poor.
No.
They, right. Go ahead.
Right. What is happening, Dervan, and until this is dealt with, those very powerful persons and wealthy persons who have access to vast amounts of capital in Jamaica and who are a part of the private sector and who are allegedly involved in these serious organized criminal activities involved in importing cocaine, drugs, and guns in Jamaica until they are found and arrested and charged for their crimes. We are going to continue to have a serious problem with crime and gangs in this country. And it would seem to me that one of the areas that can assist in investigations of these high-profile persons is to specially train some of these MOCA detectives and place them at the two international airports and the ports and wharves incognito through the customs department with the objective to investigate and arrest these dangerous masterminds who are responsible for the importation of contraband into Jamaica. I have taken note that Minister Chang has made some amendments to the MOCA Act, I think, last year in terms of searches and seizures. But I am recommending through this very important program here this afternoon that Minister Chang should seriously consider amending the MOCA Act further to give all special agents attached to MOCA and MOCA West full police powers. The MOCA special agents do not have full police powers at this time, and allowing them to have full police powers would allow them to make greater roads in investigations and arrests in serious organized crime in Jamaica.
We hope the hope though is that we don't have any moles in the system, MOLES.
Yes.
Because that could undermine whatever plans that one has to deal with this these instances of contraband.
Yes. Well, so far, Dervan, no detective from Mocha or Mocha West have been found to be involved in any criminal activities because they are specialist team and they are checked out rather regularly and being monitored. And I think that so far they have an impeccable track record so far. I think though that there is need for a revamping and restructuring of what is called the National Intelligence Bureau. The National Intelligence Bureau has divisional intelligence units in its parish. But if you take a look at St. James and Western Jamaica, this agency is responsible primarily to gather the necessary intelligence on criminals and gang members and drug barons. But over the past 2, 3 years, I have not read or seen Dervan, not one single gang dismantled and their members charged and convicted within St. James or Western Jamaica. So that would also lead me to conclude that the National Intelligence Bureau needs some revamping specifically within Western Jamaica and St. James. And also I hear reports I cannot verify, but I'm going with what is heard within the broadcast and printed media that there is supposedly a cabinet reshuffle.
We've been here. It's one of those stories that pop up
Yes,
when you enter the news dry season, whenever that is. It's
yes,
one of those stories. Members of the media, journalists, etc., who pull up stories like those or start something. Maybe it's time for a cabinet reshuffle, and what would you like to see, and so on. But I don't know that there's any definitive move towards a cabinet reshuffle. That remains to be seen.
yes. As far as I'm concerned, and you may find it a bit, uh, let me just say, it is my view that Minister Chan has accomplished some level of achievement during his tenure. Massive amount of refurbishing of some police stations and other capital investment in national security. My view is that Prime Minister Holness should not remove Minister Chan. But if he has to be removed, Dervan, with the greatest of respect for Brigadier Rocky Mead, I think he's serving well as an ambassador and as co-chair of the Constitutional Reform Committee. I do not think there is no need at all for him to be brought to the Senate if that is the case and be appointed Minister of National Security. If there is a change, then I think that Chief Trinity Gardner could be considered for the position. I am not sure if there's a current serving national security advisor. Are you aware of that person?
No, last time we had one, that was Major General Anthony Anderson.
Yes. Before I go on finally to the constitutional reform issue, I am suggesting that the Selvin led Financial Investigations Division and Mocha West under Colonel Edwards' leadership, they should seek to get the assistance of the United States Drug Enforcement Agency and the APS to assist them to investigate these complex drug trading and organized crimes with transnational connections taking place in Jamaica, and they could seek to have this done through an MOU. On the issue of constitutional reform, Dervan, I have not heard one comment concerning the need for a complete overall and salary increase for the Prime Minister, the Cabinet Ministers, the State Ministers, the Parliament Secretaries, and the Members of Parliament. One would have thought that, coupled with the debate on the constitutional issues, that this is long overdue. how can you have a person in command of various government agencies earning $16 million per year, and the Prime Minister is not being paid anything near that? We berate the Prime Minister, we berate the cabinet ministers and other members of the executive. But isn't it a national disgrace, from my viewpoint, the low levels of salaries that are being paid to the Prime Minister and his team?
One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. Every time my son send the liquor bill for me, I have to go sit down our all day like me have nothing else to do. No, sir, you not fair do this. Tired of spending all day at the wharf to clear your barrel? Driver, turn up that the little bit for me there. Starting May 1, use contactless clearance to clear your non-commercial shipments and avoid the long wait. Call Jamaica Customs today at 876-922-51408 or email contactlessclearance@jca.gov.jf. But God goody, me go call customs and learn about the contactless clearance. Yeah.
Less waiting, more convenience. Try Customs contactless clearance today. Everybody spring into savings this April with the H&L Rapid True Value Sale. From April 24th to 30th, get up to 25% off selected plumbing supplies like Niagara toilets, more in water saving faucets and sinks. Stay cool with 15% off solar fans and up to 15% off selected power tools and mesh wire. Civil servants, show your ID for an extra 10% off sale items. From April 24th to the 30th, you don't want to miss these amazing deals from H&L Rapid True Value.
Conditions apply.
Yes, sir. You're on to salaries of public officials like the Prime Minister et al.
Yes, I think that now that the Constitutional Reform Committee is in operation and having debate on the very important issues, it would seem to me that it is quite appropriate at this time, Dervan, for the necessary debate and increases to take place in regards to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister should receive no less than $40 million per annum.
How did you arrive at that figure?
It is a figure which I think is fair based on how I have evaluated the situation and in comparison to other salaries of heads of other government agencies. Cabinet ministers, $30 million per annum. State ministers, $20 million per annum. Parliamentary secretaries, $50 million per annum. Members of Parliament, $50 million per annum. And I will say this also, Dervan, that the leader of the opposition, I think he should be paid at the level of cabinet minister. That means that he should be earning $30 million as well. But I will go further. It is my view as well. In the United States, although that's a different system of government, senators are paid a salary there. It is my view that some tabulation of salaries for senators should be had. I do not think that there should be a fixed election date. I am aware that in other countries that the Prime Minister has to adhere to a fixed election date. But I think that the status quo should remain here in Jamaica. And I am in support of a 6-year tenure appointment for a ceremonial president with approval of a 2/3 majority in the Senate. There is an ongoing issue of the final Court of Appeal. I understand, that is my understanding, that the government and high-ranking persons in there are still in favor of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. I have not heard so far, I stand corrected, but I have not heard so far any specific date and any specific direction as to how the government is proceeding with the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council as Jamaica's final court of appeal.
I seem to remember hearing somebody saying that that is the next matter they're going to be looking at. The next question, or the question before them now, has to do with the Privy Council and its implications for Jamaica's proposed Republican status.
Yes, it will be interesting, Dervan, to debate, because there's still quite a segment within Jamaica who are still supporters of having the Privy Council in the UK as Jamaica's final court of appeal. It would be interesting to hear some constitutional scholars as to whether or not, for the time being and for a specific period of time, whether or not Jamaica could still have the Privy Council, its final court of appeal, as well as to the CCJ, and then after that expiration date, then we fully go to the CCJ. If you take a look at many of the judgments from the Privy Council, which have to do with cases which have been sent from Jamaica over the past 5-10 years, some of those judgments, Dervan, are landmark rulings and are well written. I still do not have that level of confidence in the CCJ at this time for Jamaica to join them. But why not allow an interim period for Jamaica to have either the Privy Council or the CCJ as its final court of appeal? There has been a plethora of talk about reparation, which in my view is a grand waste of time. I remember speaking to the late Wilmer Perkins on some occasions, and he says, instead of Jamaica focusing on how they can develop the industries and the economy and how to move this country forward, Jamaica is wasting time on speaking about reparation and speaking about wanting to receive billions of dollars from the UK having to do with slavery. Wouldn't the time be better spent, Dervan, on how to move this country forward than to be wasting time on something which I think is hardly likely that the United Kingdom will pay any reparation money to Jamaica?
Hello?
So
Oh,
I guess the debate will continue, but I think we can't waste time on things which are not practical at all. Thank you very much, Dervan, for taking my call. All the very best to you. Keep up the good work. All the best to your callers and to your listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to hear from you.
Thank you.
Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Professor Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Malcolm, good afternoon to your valuable listeners and callers. Now, Mr. Malcolm,
Yes.
you know that most Jamaican people don't understand mathematics. Listen what that caller just said a while ago. That the Prime Minister should be getting what? 40 million a year?
Yes, that's his proposal.
So, Mr. Malcolm, you know the value of the Jamaican economy and what it value?
Not sure where the figure is these days.
Let me give you an idea based on my estimate. If all of us should get the same pay per capita income they call it,
Yes.
each of us would get at least $60,000 every month, you know.
Every month?
Yeah, 60,000.
60,000 what? Jamaican dollars?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
When you divide like the 3 million people here,
Mm-hmm.
and you divide the total value of all of the GDP
and the remittance that's coming from abroad that they call gross national product there.
Mm-hmm.
And gross domestic product. You don't just get $60,000 a month, you know. How much people can live off that, Mr. Malcolm?
Those whose situation matches the funds.
Now the minimum wage going to raise June to $13,000 a week. And I can tell you that most of the small businesses in the inner city, even downtown Tree, are going to lay off workers because the cash flow is not there to carry.
Mm-hmm.
So the people don't really understand how cash flow in the economy, because it's not all the money that you hear the Minister of Finance talking about, trillions of dollars. It's not all of that money is in notes and coins, you know, to go around, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you're paying a Prime Minister, let's say the Prime Minister gets about 14 million a year.
I think the last figure I saw was about 2016, when it was 7.6 million a year, I think, basic. Mm.
Yeah, all right. Call it say 10 million then, Mr. Malcolm.
Mm.
And you're gonna pay Portia thing similar that till she gone. When she gone, her husband going to get it till him gone. You still paying PJ, you still paying Fiona wife, you still paying Cheera wife. Now they're looking for a president to pay these big money till them dead. The average man on the ground going to suffer, you know.
Well, one of the focal points for those who are monitoring these discussions and deliberations on constitutional reform is not swapping, well, pardon the expression, it's a Jamaican expression, swapping black dog for monkey.
Tell the people them what that means, Mr.
Right. So you have a situation where we have a head of state who is up to this point still the king, represented in Jamaica by the Governor General, and the Governor General's one of the Governor General's functions is to give his assent to bills that have been passed, etc., etc. And so those who are monitoring and participating in constitutional reform are saying, well, it doesn't make any sense if all we're going to do is to replace the existing queen's or king's representative with one of our own, and still having to pay huge sums and according these individuals or the individual a cushy pension and other benefits, etc. The people are saying do away with that position entirely. And you go ahead.
Yes, my professor, we have to do away with that position altogether.
Mm-hmm.
If not, they're going to create more people in the part program. And then what? We're not recognizing people's performance. We're recognizing only status. Mr. Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
The minimum wage going to raise to 13,000 the 1st of June. And any Jamaican who getting below the minimum wage, they must stop taking. And they must make sure that they get a pay slip with them work, and the pay slip must clearly set out what is their contribution to their pension, etc., and the NIS and the NHT. And every month they must do an audit trail and make sure that the employer
are remitting the funds, yes.
Are remitting the funds.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is happening in Jamaica, you know, is a class war we are in, you know, Mr. Malcolm.
It is?
Yes, we are in, I tell you, two wars that we are in. We are in a class war and we are in a gender war. Mr. Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
if I don't give my spouse certain amount of money every month, worries are going in the house, you know. And it doesn't matter how much we give her before, you know.
Well, you should be able to work that out.
I have worked it out. But I was telling you that not everybody that can work it out.
True.
And you have a situation where you have your commissioner of police, for argument's sake. He's getting $1.5 million a month. Can somebody tell me, when you look at what they call...
Hold on just a moment. Here's the thing now. We have to go to a break for a sponsored interview.
To be continued.
Yeah, sorry about that. But if you...
That's all right.
Yeah, at some point later on, if you're able to, you can reconnect with us. Agreed. Thank you.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. Join Althea McKenzie during Farm Talk every second Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for a special feature that provides useful information on the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, and the role they play in Jamaica's agricultural sector. This feature is brought to you by the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities. That's the JACRA special every second Tuesday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk.
You'll be playing with dynamite. Now many men will try to tell you bad things about me. Oh baby, let them try. No one day they'll lust to die. And there will be no cause or reason for you to doubt me.
Of events here in Jamaica, and the entertainment scene is very, very, very active. In fact, the media houses like the RGR Gleaner Communications Group participate in various activities in keeping with the promotional and marketing commitments and arrangements that have been made. And so the Regina Bell concert is no different. And we have been featured that particular concert based on arrangements between the decision makers here within the RGR Cleaner Communications Group and the organizers of these events. And so that trend will continue for a little while. And that's one of the reasons why we started this segment with the sound of Glenn Washington, because he is going to be one of the performers on board for the Regina Bell concert. And we're anxious to get an update on how plans are coming along and what we can expect at this concert. Glenn Washington, greetings. How are you?
Greetings, I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing well, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. And can you give us an idea of how this concert came about? I mean, how did it come to be to the point where the interest is so high right now? And it's you sure you have enough space?
I have enough space. I have enough space. I came down here. I live abroad. I live in Georgia.
Yes.
And I've been away for a long, long time. About 15 years was the last time I actually did a show.
What?
In Jamaica.
It's been that long?
Yeah. I've always stayed away. I'm working elsewhere. No matter how you say artist out there, he's working.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So I'm always working. So I came down to actually do a seminar, a music seminar, and to check out the seminar. And then I got put on Rebel Salute. So everybody said, "Why not? Why not?" And I said, "Yeah, okay." And it seemed like it opened up a can of worms, because it so to speak. But that's good. It is good vibe, and actually to get a chance to come home and let my people know that I'm still alive and kicking. And I love it. It's feeling good. So out of the blue, the powers that be decided that they wanted me to be on the show, and I think it is a great honor to be on the show with people like Regina Bell, Marcia Griffith, and my good friend George.
Yes.
It is indeed an honor, and I'm looking forward to nicing up the place for the people.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, how what can the patrons expect from Glenn Washington?
Glenn Washington is someone that believes in good news, clean music, and well, please keep it there, because you don't have to cover the ears, because there's no derogatory where I'm concerned.
Yes.
And I believe in the people and making people be pleased and don't have to worry about spending their money to come out. They will enjoy themselves to the max. That's what I'm about. And if given the chance, you might have to get somebody to get me out of the stage, because we have a whole bunch of I'm 40 albums in.
What?
Now. Yes. We've been recording since 1972. I mean,
That's before I was born. Goodness.
For real?
Yes. No, but you don't look it at all, as they say. You wear it well.
I don't feel it. I'm still going strong.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what my song do. Still going strong.
All right. Having said that, now I hear that there is a special offer today. Is it just for today, in relation to tickets?
Yes. You can come to this Pegasus and get 2 for 1. That's what I heard.
Yes. Right. So that's the 2 for 1.
Yeah.
2 for 1 general tickets, only available at the Pegasus Hotel and the University of the West Indies.
Yeah.
And it looks like that has been since Wednesday and will run until Saturday.
Okay.
So apart from pulling out all the stops to get the likes of Regina Bell and Marcia Griffiths, and of course you in Glenn Washington and George Nooks, you are still being generous to the patrons, those who are looking to experience the concert.
People need, people need proper entertainment, good entertainment, comfortable entertainment. People need that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm here to represent reggae music.
Right. How would you describe your style, musically speaking?
Musically speaking, I'm still with the good old school style, the real reggae music. I'm still with that. And not that I'm putting down any other style or any other genre.
No, man, speak your truth and speak it clearly, as Desiderata says.
I believe in, like Bob Marley said, he is the one job. That's where I'm at.
Yes. And so you said you came down for a seminar?
Yeah, I came down for the music seminar earlier this year. And I got introduced to some people, and everybody was like, "Where are you been?" And people was like,
they were missing you, obviously.
They was missing me, but a lot of younger people said, "We hear the song, but we don't see the face."
Yes.
So I said, "Here I am," and you know what? I think it's a good idea. From now on, I'll be in and out of Jamaica because this is the land of my birth.
Yes. I see. So while we're at it, listeners, there's the, let's remind you of the 2-for-1 special today into tomorrow at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and the UWI Mona, and the figure I'm seeing there is $10,000 as far as the 2-for-1 special is concerned. For those who are already salivating about the lineup for this concert. And it's going to be, let's remind you, Palm Drive, Hope Gardens, a most scenic location. It's a perfect location, wouldn't you say, Glenn Washington?
Yes, but you know what happened? The last time I've been to Hope Garden, I was 16 years old.
Oh, wow. Experience.
That's experience for me.
Yes. I can just...
I'm still looking forward to this. It's going to be a real good show.
Yeah. And the start time is 8 o'clock in the evening, cocktails from 6 to 7. And of course, the day we're talking about is Saturday, the 6th of May. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow, listeners. Hosted. Go ahead. Yeah, sounds like you're ready. Wonderful. Well, we want to thank you very much, as they say, for passing through this afternoon here. Wonderful. So we look forward to a spectacular show on Saturday, tomorrow, the 6th of May.
Yeah, I believe it's looking good and sounding good.
Wonderful. Happy to hear that. All right, so take us out with one of your favorites, a couple lines of one of your favorites.
Sometimes I feel like moving on, but deep inside I know I could never let you go. Oh no, there'd be a piece of me that's missing, and I would really miss you kissing. I just can't go, not at all. Although sometimes we go through changes, misunderstandings, really wanting to spoil flow. One thing you should know, it's up to us to realize, unified we'll win the prize of feeling so. There's not one day that goes by that I don't want you to be a part of me, baby. When I am holding you right here in my arms, kissing and loving you, baby, having the time of my life. I've been used and abused and so wrongly accused, but I'm still going through. And some people backbiting me, always fighting me, still going strong.
Indeed, we can hear it. More strength to you, Glenn Washington. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And all the best for a fabulous show tomorrow, Saturday.
Looking forward to what it's gonna happen.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Yes, indeed. Perry's International. Thank you very much, listeners. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you still have a little time. It's tomorrow. Regina Bell in concert featuring Glenn Washington, who has been kind enough to join us for a few minutes this afternoon. Marcia Griffiths, the queen of reggae, so she's called. George Nooks, and all backed by the Public Alert Band. Starting time 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Cocktails 6 to 7. Palm Drive, Hope Gardens. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. Every time my son send the liquor barrel for me, I have to go sit down and walk all day like me have nothing else to do. No, sir, me not fair do this. Tired of spending all day at the wharf to clear your barrel? Driver, turn up that the little bit for me there. Starting May 1, use contactless clearance to clear your non-commercial shipments and avoid the long wait. Call Jamaica Customs today at 876-922-51408 or email contactlessclearance@jca.gov.jf. But God goody, me I go call customs and learn about the contactless clearance. Hook me up.
Less waiting, more convenience. Try Customs contactless clearance today. Join H&L Agro for its inaugural Farm and Garden Market this Saturday, May 6th at the H&L Head Office, 697 Spanish Town Road. Lots of exciting features and activities. Farmers Market, exotic Clare root orchid varieties, pet grooming, exclusive deals and discounts, product sampling, and more. H&L Agro Farm and Garden Market is brought to you by Sagicor, National Distribution, H&L Rapid True Value, Newport Firsan, and Peruge Distributors. This Saturday, May 6th, H&L Agro Farm and Garden Market. See you there.
Join Alfie McKenzie during Farm Talk every second Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for a special feature that provides useful information on the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, and the role they play in Jamaica's agricultural sector. This feature is brought to you by the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, 1 Willie Henry Drive, Kingston. That's the JACRA special feature every second Tuesday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Treat the youths right. Jimmy Cliff, another Child Month special selection here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, still taking your calls until we have to do another interview. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. It's the eve of the coronation of King Charles, and there's a story trending on the Gleaner's website. Go the jamaica-gleaner.com. King's coronation draws apathy, criticism in former colonies. And there's a picture of guards carrying flags from Commonwealth countries during a full tri-service and Commonwealth rehearsal at RAF Oldham in Hook, England, Sunday, the 30th of April. And let's share a bit of the story with you. When King Charles III is crowned on Saturday, soldiers carrying flags from Jamaica, South Africa, Tuvalu, and beyond will march alongside British troops in a spectacular military procession in honor of the monarch. For some, the scene will affirm the ties that bind Britain and its former colonies. But for many others in the Commonwealth, a group of nations mostly made up of places once claimed by the British Empire, Charles's coronation is seen with apathy at best. In those countries, the first crowning of a British monarch in 70 years is an occasion to reflect on oppression and colonialism's bloody past. The displays of pageantry in London will jar, especially with growing calls in the Caribbean to sever all ties with the monarchy. Interest in British royalty has waned since more Jamaicans are waking to the reality that the survivors of colonialism and the Holocaust of slavery are yet to receive reparatory justice, the Reverend Sean Major Campbell, an Anglican priest in the Jamaican capital, Kingston, said. The coronation is only relevant insofar as it kicks us in the face with the reality that our head of state is simply so by virtue of biology, Major Campbell added. As British sovereign, Charles is also head of state of 14 other countries, though the role is largely ceremonial. These realms, which include Australia, Canada, Jamaica, Papua New Guinea, and New Zealand, represent a minority of the Commonwealth nations. Most of the 56 members are republics, even if some still sport the Union Jack on their flags. Barbados was the most recent Commonwealth country to remove the British monarch as its head of state, replacing Charles's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, with an elected president in 2021. The decision spurred similar Republican movements in neighboring Jamaica, the Bahamas, and Belize. Last year, when Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness welcomed Prince William and his wife Kate during a royal tour of the Caribbean, he announced that his country intends to become fully independent. It made for an awkward photo with a royal couple who were also confronted with protests calling for Britain to pay slavery reparations. William, the heir to the throne, observed later in the same trip that the relationship between the monarchy and the Caribbean has evolved. The royal family will support with pride and respect your decisions about your future, he told a reception in the Bahamas. And the story goes on. You can read on. It's on the Gleaner's website, jamaica-gleaner.com. Let's go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Pleasant good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
This is about my second or third call to your program.
Thanks for calling.
The last one was, I think, where those two bike riders snatched that company phone where you was using at an outdoor broadcast.
Yes, up Red Hills Road.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening very intently to the caller
from St. James, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Very interesting
suggestions.
Yes, but what really got me a bit turned off.
Mm-hmm.
When I already mentioned about the salaries of the prime minister, ministers of government, etc., etc.,
Mm-hmm.
I do have a problem with the persons being paid the requisite thing befitting their post. But before you could even go there, what about the unsettled situation with our many teachers who up to this moment have not got their salary package sorted out as it ought to?
Yes.
And also the dental surgeons who had to take some form of industrial action, and it is only today I'm hearing on I think your station where the minister said he wasn't aware, that is the health minister wasn't aware that these workers, had this problem. And of course, the whole thing with the security guards and other persons below the minimum wage line there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I kind of part company with that amount which he mentioned.
40 million. What did he say? 40 million a year?
Yes, it might look small, it might look large to some persons, but be that as it may, the unsettled situation in the public sector should be a priority as far as I'm concerned. You can't have these dental surgeons who have been trying to make contact, I think, up to the last time. I think it was about the early part of April, and has not received a response. So
Yeah, a selfless approach is perhaps what you're getting at. Instead of looking, well, in the case of the caller, looking to feather your own nest.
Yeah.
You when you occupy certain positions, your actions should be seen as being selfless. So you are allowing those who are in greatest need, and those who are in a lesser position, to feel that you have not abandoned them, that
they have some worth.
they have worth. Yes.
So this is where I kind of, feel really disappointed. And when you really look at it, you have pockets of the various public sector and their representatives which are not satisfied with what has been offered and all that kind of thing. And to me, the whole thing about negotiation has changed dramatically. In other words, you can't have the minister coming out and because they make an agreement in part, but not in whole to the entire claim, and that can be very unsettling.
Yes.
So, and then of course, if you are talking about collective bargaining,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why I believe in me sometimes in my run on these former trade union leaders who you wouldn't have this kind of situation, and people like Lasses, Beckford, what's his name, Dobson, and Eli Taylor, and other persons, who would really sit down with the minister, and is that probably is a different way you see things, but
Maybe we're experiencing a negotiate a drought.
quite rightly. And there's much more I could say about the current crop of leaders, trade union leaders, and
Yeah, whatever happened to that? It seems like trade unionism is
and the reason why I speak about it this way because I was, when I say involved as a public sector worker, and was on secondment to my union for two periods, 18 months and 2 years respectively, and I learned a lot, and it took me around the island almost, and I had to deal with like the ancillary workers and at that level, and the experience was very good, and it not only afforded me the opportunity to be involved in conferences both locally and regionally, for the betterment of the workers to whom I represent on behalf of the union. But as I said, the leadership of the unions, to me, is found wanting.
Yes, man. Something has happened. I don't know. Something terrible has happened.
But some just gone silent.
Silent. Yeah.
And it's worrying. And you can't treat workers like this. And you know what? The workers are paying their dues.
Mm-hmm.
But what do they get? A kind of service that, from their respective unions, which is unbecoming.
Mm-hmm.
When last any of them have annual meetings with their workers, do they show their, what you call it now, their accounts as to how the union funds are being spent and all of that? There's much questions there to be asked.
Yeah.
The Confederation is almost like in a coma.
Yes, I've been hearing for some time that.
It's not like who was the general secretary for years? I can't remember his name right now, but he passed on some time ago, and he was on the ball. But something is wrong, and they need to wake up and smell the coffee that his workers are not going to sit down long under this situation.
Yeah.
You understand? So this is my input, and I continue to listen. And that clip here that you play from
the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation.
Yes, very interesting.
Indeed.
As far as I'm concerned, I think, we need more public education so
Mhm.
that the average Jamaican can understand what this thing is all about. And it mustn't be rushed,
That's right.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yes.
I continue to listen to your program.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed evening.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Most welcome.
Bye bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Good afternoon to Natalie Winter. She says, great afternoon, all from Washington Gardens. Just checking in with you this Friday, enjoying the interview about the Regina Bell concert at Hope Gardens. Sounds awesome. Would recommend. I'm still listening. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Natalie Winter. More in a moment.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
And so we continue to mix it up, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and trying to cover as many areas and interviews as possible according to our schedule. Now, we interviewed Glenn Washington a short while ago on the Regina Bell concert, which happens tomorrow evening at Hope Gardens. And that's one of the many pre-Mother's Day events that are being held across this country. But then there's one that is happening on Mother's Day that we want to tell you about right now. Mother's Day being Sunday, the 14th of May. And there's an event called, and this is Sophia and Friends presenting Beauties at Brunch, the Mother's Day edition. To tell us more, Sophia Walcott, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, Dervan. Good afternoon. I'm well, thank you. And how are you?
Fine, thanks. We should let our listeners know that Sophia Walcott is one of our former colleagues here at Poro 106
Yes.
FM.
Yes, thanks so much for having me, Dervan.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm hearing about this event for the very, very first time. Does that necessarily mean that this is the first installment of Beauties at Brunch?
Yes, it does. It definitely is. It's our first event, and we're having it on Mother's Day. The theme is Garden Chic. It will be held on the lawns of 14 University Crescent in St. Andrew, and that's across from the University of Technology. And to tell you more, it's an all-inclusive event. We're going to be having delicious food, drinks, and mimosas for moms. We know it's Mother's Day, and mothers will have lots of options. So we've gone all out to ensure that the food will be very delicious. So that's the highlight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a family event. So we want mothers, their friends, and family members to just come out in their Sunday best and have a great time.
Yes. What are the hours of the event?
We're starting at 11, and we hope to end between 3 and 4.
And how can people get tickets?
Right. So tickets are pre-sold only, and tickets cost $8,000, and they are available at Runrick Electronics. That's at Shop 22, upstairs Kings Plaza on Compton Spring Road. That's right next door to Brian's studio. And again, the cost is $8,000, and it's all inclusive.
So you said only pre-sold tickets, so no tickets at the gate?
No tickets at the gate.
Okay.
So persons need to get their tickets as soon as possible because they don't want to miss this event. It's going to be really epic is the word I choose to use.
Yes. And it's very brave of you to be looking to do an event on Mother's Day. Normally, you do a pre-Mother's Day event or so on, and you allow mothers to decide how they spend the day. Why have you decided to take this on head on in terms of on Mother's Day itself?
Well, you would know, Dervan, I like to take things head on. I mean, I'm going all out. I know it's gonna work out. One of the reasons behind having this brunch is that I think there's a perception that Mother's Day really is for older moms. So, for example, my mom, who is in her 70s, but I'm a mom and I'm only 43. So I would want somewhere to go. I like to dress up and look beautiful and go out in the daytime. And so I figure that, friends, I have friends as well who would like the same thing. And I thought, why not? Why not? So here we are.
I see. But of course, having said that, all moms are welcome, right?
All moms, friends, as I said again, it's a family event. And, we're going to be having, again, I went all out, Dervan.
Yes.
So to make the all-inclusive experience even more special for mothers, we're going to be having lots of giveaways and prizes. And I want to just say a big thank you to some persons who have come on board knowing it's a first event.
Sure.
So they came on board with gift certificates and products, gift baskets, and so on from others. So I want to say a special shout out to Jamaica Producers Group, Just Sugar Beauty Bar, Massy Distribution, Fast Rich Company Limited, Dense Care Tangerine Place, Meals by Patrice, and Sugar Buzz Desserts. Oh, and Music for Beauties at Brunch is powered by The Sparkles Productions. So I want persons to come prepared to dance to music from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and more. And I'm looking forward to seeing you as well, Dervan.
Let's see. I'll check my schedule, but why not? Why not? By all means. So this is listeners, Sophia and friends presenting Beauties at Brunch, the Mother's Day edition, Sunday, the 14th of May, Mother's Day, from 11 in the morning until about 3 in the afternoon on the lawns of 14 University Crescent, Kingston 6. That's across from the University of Technology. And the tickets, pre-sold tickets only, pre-sold. So you no need to turn up at the gate for tickets or buying tickets at the gate. Tickets on a pre-sold basis. Right. Because that's a part of just trying to effectively manage this first time event, isn't it?
That's correct, Dervan. You're correct.
And in terms of the dress code again, did you say something about garden
chic?
Okay, I wonder what that is. I know chic is the French word for smart in terms of somebody looking smart. You say you're looking chic.
There you go. And then in our local terms, we'll just say put on your Sunday best.
Yeah.
Come out looking lovely.
Yeah, that one sticks.
Yeah.
Right. So I would imagine a part of the Mother's Day experience at Beauties at Brunch is to share your general I don't want to repeat the same word. You know me already. No, but no, but it means you can share your stories, your respective stories, in terms of how you relate to your children and what motherhood has meant for you, etc. It also provides that kind of a setting.
That is so correct, Dervan.
So are the children invited, or it's only the parents?
Children are invited as well.
Okay.
Many persons have reached out to say, oh, I would like to come and I'd like to bring my mother or my wife, but what do I do with my 10-year-old son and so on. So, children are invited as well.
Okay.
It's a clean family type event.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, it's we're proud of you. You having your own event. We're happy to be able to share the information with our listeners at home and abroad. So it's Sophia and Friends, Sophia and Friends presenting Beauties at Brunch, the Mother's Day edition. It's happening on Mother's Day, Sunday, the 14th of May, from 11 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon on the lawns of 14 University Crescent across from UTEC. And it's pre-sold tickets only, $8,000, all inclusive. And the dress code, as you heard, whichever resonates with you most, whether garden chic or Sunday best. Yes. Wonderful. Go ahead.
I just want to say thanks again to the sponsors. We really appreciate it because, Dervan, it's a first event. Not everybody, they don't have the experience to say, oh, is this going to go well? So they trust me to say, we're going to come on board. We're going to give you some things to give away and so on. And I really, really appreciate it. I'll just list them out again. Jamaica Producers Group, St. Mary's Banana Chips, Just Sugar Beauty Bar. You want to go and get your waxing done, your sugar waxing done. Master Distribution, Ostrich Company Limited, Dent Care, Tangerine Place, they cater to cowards there. Nails by Patrice and Sugar Buzz, and of course, Sparkles Production.
Sounds good. We want to wish you a successful event, and since we still have a little time, we'll do our best to remind our listeners before Mother's Day.
Thank you so much, Dervan, and again, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care and thanks. Bye-bye.
Sure. Bye-bye. That's Sophia Walcott of Sophia and Friends presenting Beauties at Brunch, the Mother's Day edition, happening on Mother's Day, Sunday, the 14th of May, from 11 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon on the lawns of 14 University Crescent, Kingston 6. That's across from the University of Technology. Pre-sold tickets only. It's $8,000 and it's all inclusive. Yes, that means refreshments. Yeah, all inclusive. Plus an opportunity to win some prizes as well. And if you can call or WhatsApp, I didn't realize there was a number here. Okay. So you can call if you need more information on Beauties at Brunch, the Mother's Day edition. You can call or WhatsApp 876-476-9739 to purchase tickets. That's 876-476-9739 to purchase your tickets. You can call or WhatsApp 876-476-9739. Continuing with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Hello to Carol Boyth, who is online watching us on Facebook Live. Good to see you. She says, good afternoon, Dervan, Malcolm, and global listeners. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too, Carol. And all the very best. Keep those messages coming in here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Taki Lemkwa says, good afternoon, Dervan, and all on board. Greetings to you too. YouTube went into a loop a few moments ago. Very annoying. It was trying to access the feed, says Taki Lemkwa. And let's see if we can get in another call. 876-922-4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm, you hear me well?
Yes.
I want to continue with that brief discussion here now.
Yes, you were going on to talk about the police commissioner's $1 million salary. I think that's where you left it. Sorry, go ahead.
You hear me all right?
Well, the line sounds a little quail.
Let me call you back.
All right, please do. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And let's see. So let's give you a taste of history on this, the eve of the coronation of King Charles. 1953, a new era starts for Jamaica. By an order in council proclaimed by His Excellency the Governor, the island entered into a state of wider and greater political responsibility, a ministerial system in which elected representatives of the people would take part in the day-to-day administration of the country came into force, signed by Her Majesty the Queen in the court at Windsor Castle, England, April 30. The Jamaica Constitution Ordering Council 1953 came into operation by proclamation made by Governor Sir Hugh Foote. And the House of Representatives on the same day, 1953, on this day, 1953, the House of Representatives approved the appointment of the Honorable William Alexander Bustamante as Chief Minister for Jamaica under the new ministerial system. The House took the first step to implement the extended constitution granted to the island by the Queen. What a thing.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
For any project, ABC Electrical Sales has all your electrical supplies at the best prices. 8 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 754-3714. The time by ABC Electrical Sales is
3:45.
Treat the youths right instead of putting up a fight. Treat the youths right. You'll be very dynamite. Treat the youths right instead of putting us a fight. Treat the youths right. You'll be very dynamite. Someone giving you a fight. I never get to go around, and we know that that's not right.
Thanks a lot from both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. So holding your time now.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm, I was telling the police commissioner.
Yes.
So they're telling Jamaica about the crime statistics, especially murder. And they're telling me that in the first 3 months of this year, 410 Jamaicans has been murdered. They don't tell you how much the police killing, but they just tell you that it's 410. And then
I think Indicom could help us with that number, but the police would have that number as well anyway.
Yeah, and at the same time, they tell you that the murder rate is going down while more people dying. When compared to last year, in that I'm saying like 1,600 murder last year plus 410 more, it's 2,010 that. But they are using a reverse psychology for you to think that he's doing a great job.
Well, naturally, those of us who occupy any position where we have to give an account, we would naturally play up the good news, what we consider to be the good, and play down what we think is the bad.
But if you do a cost-benefit analysis on the performance of the Prime Minister and the Police Commissioner and the Minister of Crime, what you're going to find is that they are costing the country more than the benefit we're getting from them.
Yeah, well, they could argue, and they would, I would imagine, that they have taken on an awesome task, and there's a lot of stress that comes with it and everything else, and they would know that. And so the compensation package, part of it is part of the approach that is taken when it comes to the compensation package is understanding and appreciating how much one has to undergo in order to effectively carry out their duties.
Mr. Malcolm, if everybody could do their job, just do what they're supposed to do, we would have no crime, But people have ambition, and they have political bias, and they have all sorts of shenanigans, and it leads to what is known as systemic risk. And when that systemic risk materializes, it breeds things like crime, you know. Because when you pay a police commissioner $1.5 million a month, where the per capita income to my calculation is $60,000 a month. When you divide the per capita income into his salary, 25 people are going to end up on the part program, you know. You know that much?
How do you arrive at that?
Divide 1.5 million a month by 60,000 a month and see how much the differential that is there. You get 25, you know.
Oh.
So that means 25 people somewhere not having a dinner to eat.
No,
How are they going to survive?
Well, that's something we talk about all the time on this program. One of the things we have to ensure as best as possible is that no one goes hungry.
You know, the only way we can do that as a people now is to take back our communities from the political people and the religious people that divide us and separate us against one another, and letting other people believe that because some people live in Cherry Garden, they're better than those who live in Rima. Never, sir. Because if I live in Rima and you live in Cherry Garden, and then you go to the same supermarket, and we go to the same wholesale and we buy the same furniture, why is it that your furniture all of a sudden, or your house, value 20 times more than mine? It's a culture cause that, you know, Mr. Malcolm.
Yeah, there are all kinds of nuances and nuanced positions that people take, and a lot of them out of ignorance.
Yeah, let me show you a typical example last night. Mr. Mark Golding make a decision to bring in a caretaker who doesn't even live in Portmore, has nothing to do with Portmore. And he chose him over the Portmore deputy mayor. And they burned down the office in Portmore last night.
Who burned down the office?
No, allegedly people who are lying to the other PNP man get upset and burn down the PNP office. Tell the people, my professor.
Well, that's not a solution.
No, that decision that was made and the action of the people because of their political ideology, don't that contribute to the value in the communities of Portmore and people housing value in the long and short run, Professor?
As long as there are factors and elements that detract from the aesthetics of the place, yes, among other things.
I bet you they couldn't do that in Cherry Gardens or in Norbrook or in Millsboro where these political elites live.
Yeah, well, it's not only political elites who live in these places. There are some people who, through dint of hard work and perseverance, have achieved what they have achieved.
And let me ask you another question, Professor.
Uh-huh.
When you have a bank manager getting a bonus of over 60 million a year, and the bank not even paying me 1% interest on my money, and the bank makes so much profit, how them expect crime supposed to go down in Jamaica? By a miracle of God?
Well, what do you envision? What's the system that would cause us not to be in this position?
We have a system of inequity that exists among us in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop make people use me, you know, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
Nobody can use me again, you know. Especially some things that may discuss on this program, you know.
Yes.
You see your time, how valuable is your time, Mr. Malcolm? Time.
Priceless.
Price, that means we don't have any Jamaican dollar value that we can put on time.
Well, you can try.
You can try.
Mm-hmm.
But time is valuable more than the money, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say most of us in Jamaica are underemployed?
I think that topic has come up from time to time, and there are enough people who agree that that is so.
So if I am underemployed and I am doing my best to survive and being a law-abiding citizen, did you know that there is no member of parliament or any members of the cabinet who have only one job, like the Prime Minister now. You think I want to work the Prime Minister of just to be Prime Minister of Jamaica?
The Prime Minister is a career politician.
What do you mean by that, Professor?
Apart from his early work with, what's the name of that organization at Heroes Circle? He did some early work with that organization.
With some voluntary organization.
Yes, council, is it? Council,
right
Council of,
Heroes Circle.
yes.
Yeah, I know that place.
Yeah. So there are those who are career politicians. There are those who have their own, they have careers, and they just happen to make that conscious decision to take on politics as well.
Yeah, but a lot of business that we don't know about going on, though.
Who?
All of them.
Well, if there are established tenets as which dictate how they should approach, how they should behave once that subject comes up, once there is any question with respect to ownership of.
And not only that, those businesses are not even registered in Jamaica here.
Yeah, well, if that is something that is against the law, then.
No, it's not against the law.
Well,
it goes to show you how skillful these men are, or they can manage to manipulate and brainwash the Jamaican people.
But they might argue that there is, as you yourself just agreed, there's nothing unlawful about it.
Yeah, but Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
Oh, you know when you're rich. Oh, you measure riches.
It's a function of one's socialization and exposure to so-called riches, or what that individual regards as riches. Different people will feel different levels of comfort or discomfort financially. So it's a function of the level of security, not of a safety in terms of safety and security, but safety and security in relation to finances, one's finances. If one doesn't have to reach too far to find breakfast, lunch, dinner, clothing, furniture, property in terms of housing, etc., one can continue to work to achieve even higher levels of financial success.
Well, let me ask you this before me hang up, Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
Look at one of the most troubled spots in Kingston and St. Andrew, named South St. Andrew. It encompasses from 6 Mile to downtown Kingston, Coronation Market, right?
Yes.
Maxfield Avenue, etc. Let's check the people them who run this area. Portia Simpson Miller, Edward Siaga, Peter Phillips, Anthony Hilton, Desmond McKenzie, Andrew Holness. How come these constituencies are so impoverished? Thief in light, thief in water, take over people land and all of these things, and all of these politicians that pass through those areas. Also rich and famous with guaranteed pension, and the constituents are poor. How you explain that?
Because the destitution and poverty and related matters are entrenched. They run deep.
No, Mr. Malcolm, you're going deep now, you know?
Yeah.
When you say deeply entrenched and they run deep, explain to the people what you mean. Simple.
No amount of politicking or seeking to direct funds towards the people in these areas. No amount of that is going to help because the existing system needs to be upended.
When you say you mean the existing political system in Jamaica,
yes,
the root out, and that's right.
That's right.
Thank you, my professor. I know that you are my professor. If someone come,
yes,
they set a trap for the Jamaican people long time, you know.
But some of us have been smart enough to avoid some of these traps.
I'm going to leave you with this. This is the constitution where them are playing with now.
Mm-hmm.
I want every man and woman in this country who have sense and serious and good people. Look at that constitution in form of the second skin. Like how me have my skin. I don't even want a guy burn it or touch it too much. Look at the constitution as your second skin. And you're going to know, say, if these people mean any good, how them angle the constitution of this country.
Food for thought. We're going to have to leave it there.
To be continued.
Thank you. Take care.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
¿Qué hora es en espagnol? Son las 4:02. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:02. Sciences, TDN le, CDN Ling R Fen. 2 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. And we've been connecting over the last few days with Corey Hyde, Patricia Mackenzie Thomas, and Professor Henk Parmentier. And this all has to do with a series of workshops organized by One Step Forward International Social Care Services, that's OSFISCS. And in this instance, this segment, we're going to be looking at the partnership with the Women's Ministry Department of the Chester Castle Seventh-day Adventist Church in Hanover, here in Jamaica. It's a Child-Adult Mental Protection and Safeguarding Conference workshop that is coming up tomorrow, the 6th of May, from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And we're going to hear more right now as we say hello and welcome to the Women's Ministry leader, founder, and director of Western JA Women Area 7, Director of Toastmaster, member of the Kiwanis Club of Western Young Professionals, Mrs. Molly Plummer Henry. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Dervan. I am blessed.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Good to have you on board. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are anxious to learn of the relationship between Chester Castle SDA and One Step Forward International Social Care Services.
Okay. So Corey is a good friend of mine. We also believe in if each one should help a child, then we can better safeguard our country and allow our children to grow as Canadians. And so having found out that Professor Hank was doing these series of conference and workshops, he decided to reach out to me and we could do partnerships since it is that mental health is very, very critical and important to us, especially post-COVID and all that we're going through as a nation, as a country, and more so to be specific within our sphere of Chester Castle. And so we decided that what a better way to impact our community than through our women's ministry department.
And we should tell our listeners that the guest presenter, trainer, is Professor Henk Parmentier. He's a general practitioner, clinical lead with the neurodevelopment, with respect to neurodevelopmental disorders with the NHS, National Health Service in Southwest London, with a focus and also participating in the Integrated Care Board, London Integrated Care Board, Deputy Treasurer, World Federation for Mental Health, Clinical Lead, Integrated Urgent Care in Croydon. And so that's the quality of our presenter, guest presenter and trainer at this event. So now who is invited, Mrs. Plummer Henry?
We're inviting all, not just within our community, but adjoining communities as well, within Hanover, Chester Castle, Hanover. One of the things that we realize is that sometimes the outskirts parishes like St. James or even Trelawney, there's so much catering for them, and sometimes Hanover is left out, especially within the integrated or integral part of the community, such as Chester Castle. And so many of these persons are from the low socioeconomic strata of society, and to get this kind of substance, this kind of session bringing forward to educate and to bring about awareness of how parents, how even children can cope with the issue of mental health is a plus for us. And so when Professor Henk decided to come as a person with authority, with all of those skill sets, as you have mentioned, Dervan, we decided that yes, this will be very much impactful within the community of Chester Castle. So we're inviting everyone. Everyone is welcome to come, to taste, to ask questions, and to be further informed, because oftentimes there's stigma related to mental health, and persons don't really understand that mental health is not something to be looked down on. Any one of us can become a victim of such or have that kind of challenge, and so it's an awareness that we're trying to bring about. Persons have better understanding.
And at the end of the day, what will give you that sense of achievement in terms of making a mark according to the program of activities?
I found it to be interactive, Dervan, and my sense of achievement knowing that yes, we brought somebody that has not just done it in the UK, but has afforded himself worldwide to have these kind of sessions. So coming to Hanover, in Chester Castle, the border of St. James and Hanover, to present this, not just to us as representatives, but to our community, because as an it's to spread the gospel, teach the person awareness.
Sorry, the phone is not cooperating. Missing a couple of words.
Are you hearing me better now?
Yes, that's much better.
Oh, sorry about
yes.
Right. So we're saying how we know it's going to be impactful is by the questions, the sessions, integrated sessions and interactive sessions that will be delivered, and persons be able one-on-one to ask these questions to get an appreciation through demonstration, through role play, and that will bring about for us a better understanding and for persons to be privy to all the different areas regarding mental health. And also our children will be able to ask questions and be interactive within the sessions as well.
Is this the first of its kind for Chester Castle SDA in putting on or participating in such a workshop?
It's not the first, but the first in this big scale, because we have our health director. We have a health director within our conference and also locally at the church. And so what is done is we constantly remind persons, present different presentations to persons, but not on this wide scale and not this impactful in terms of what Professor Henk will be able to deliver to the congregation and the community at large. So it's the first on this wide scale.
Corey Hyde, who works behind the scenes, sent us a picture of a parent workshop at the Exchange Primary School in St. Anne, and it seems to have been very well supported. How confident are you that you will have the numbers tomorrow at your session?
Okay, so we have been promoting, and it's something that the church, through our pastor, Pastor Albert White, is also thankful for. And so we have been promoting it within our churches, within the circuit, and also the community. Persons have been reaching out, and we have been reminding them of the time. So through advertisement, through the need for this, we know that it will be well supported, and persons will come out, and of course the questions, because I know many persons can't wait to ask certain questions.
Yes, no doubt about that at all. Will the children be a part of the conference?
Yes, children will be a part of the conference as well, because children too are being affected by mental health, whether directly or indirectly. And I know Professor Henk and the team will ensure that they steer discussion that will be appropriate for our children to better understand, and through the different activities as well that will be for the children will be very much privy to it along with parents.
And are there any other partners on board with One Step Forward International Social Care Services and Chester Castle SDA?
Well, I know that in terms of my charity group, Western Jamaica Women, as the founder and also one of the directors, we will also be part of this. But what we wanted more so was for the church, along with One Stop, to cheer on this and champion this program, this session, and also to spread it to the wider community. It will be a church initiative along with Corey and the team.
Sounds good. And is it the plan going forward to make this an annual or if possible, not just annual, but who knows, maybe a couple times of the year?
We're hoping, Dervan, that this will be something that will be continuous. It might not be as frequent as every year, and it might not be wide scale, but at least we can have some kind of continuation to what we would have started here, because we understand and appreciate that mental health is a broad area and we can't outdo that. And so we can have different initiatives, different activities steer around this big program in other successive functions to come.
Right. And is it that, so you haven't met with Professor Henk Parmentier yet, have you?
No, haven't met him as yet, and I can't wait to meet him, but I know through Corey, and based on what we would have discussed, I know that we won't be disappointed.
Yes.
Because, of course, this is Professor Henk's passion, and prior to him coming, they would have reached out, and we would have had discussion with Corey, and so we know the substance, we know the quality that Professor Henk will be coming with, and so we're championing the cause, because he is doing this voluntarily, and he wants to tend of his skills so that others will also understand and appreciate.
Yes, indeed. He's quite a heavyweight, a sought after presenter all over the world. And it's good of you to be able to get a quality professor like Henk Parmentier to be a part of this experience. I can well understand the mood and the feeling right now in the community. Lots of expectations, right?
Yes, a lot of expectation, and I'm sure at the end of it, Professor Henk will be very pleased, and also those that are coming to garner more information and a better understanding as well of mental health and how to relate to persons that are going through various mental health challenges. So we really can't wait, and I know that our pastor is also excited, Pastor Albert White from the West Jamaica Conference, that has a direct leadership of the churches within the Chester Castle Circuit.
Sounds good. We are we just want to wish you all the very best for this child adult mental protection and safeguarding conference workshop at Chester Castle SDA in Hanover tomorrow. Those of you in Chester Castle listening to us, it's tomorrow from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and it's the focus is on mental wellness. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Mrs. Molly Plummer Henry. Your enthusiasm is quite infectious.
Thank you, Dervan, and thanks for having me as well. And I'm sure we'll relate to you how successful this session will be.
Definitely. Looking forward. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Mrs. Molly Plummer Henry, Women's Ministry Leader, Founder, Director, Western JA Women, Area 7 Director of Toastmaster, member of the Kiwanis Club of Western Young Professionals, and obviously a servant of the King. More in a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
16 minutes past 4 o'clock, and we weren't referring to King Charles a while ago. Far from it.
Join Althea Mackenzie during Farm Talk every second Tuesday of each month at 6:18 a.m. for a special feature that provides useful information on the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, and the role they play in Jamaica's agricultural sector. This feature is brought to you by the Jamaica Agricultural Commodities Regulatory Authority, JACRA, 1 Willie Henry Drive, Kingston. That's the JACRA special feature every second Tuesday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Althea Mackenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
Que ahora es en español, son las 4:17. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:17. 现在几点了？4点18分. 18 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us. Childhood level to the secondary level. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Good afternoon to those who have joined us on the various platforms. Steve McDonald in Toronto, Canada. Uh, asks quizzically, King Selassie? No, no. Anyway, thank you for your message, your tongue-in-cheek message, Steve in Toronto, Canada. Good to have you on board as usual. Let's go over to WhatsApp and see what's up. What's up on WhatsApp? Let's see. 876-365-3346 is the number. The WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. But look at this. David Crossburn got lost in translation. Oh my goodness. Our sincerest. I don't know what else to say. David Crossburn has been sincerest apologies, David Crossburn. He's been holding for 54 minutes and now 55 seconds. 54 minutes. My goodness. Thank you for your patience, but that's what happens sometimes, unfortunately, when you're on this device, when you call us on this device. The device is put down right here in the studio, and we don't remember that someone was on the line. That's not good. Sorry about that, Mr. Crossburn.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and all your global listeners. It's not an issue, Dervan. Your commitment is so priceless. I'll wait an eternity for it, you know?
Oh, you're very kind.
Yeah, I was listening to you from Pennsylvania and your description of the hall.
Yes.
What's his name again? Is it Palester? The hall that you did, the broadcast from.
Yes. I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm trying to.
Okay.
Yes. It's the. I think it's the.
It was as if I were inside the hall.
Yes, it's
so wonderful.
Yeah,
it was really wonderful.
The palestra. Yes, it's
Palestra, right.
Yes, it's it's generally it's Greek, Palaestra, and it's in Greek, ancient Greece, it used to refer to wrestling and any place where there was wrestling or a gymnasium. So if it was a place for wrestling or it was a gymnasium, you would refer to it as palestra, Palaestra.
Yeah, man, thanks. You give such a vivid description. It was as if someone was there, you know. And Penn, you mentioned about William Penn. He was one of the 4 members who had anything to do with Jamaica that was punished in the Tower of London.
Yes.
You know what?
Oops. Lost that call. Sorry about that. Please call us back. Sorry about that. We lost. Let's see. What happened here? All right, I think. Well, Steve is calling through now. All right, let's hear what Steve is saying. Good afternoon, Steve. How are you?
I'm good, Dervan. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
That's good. And good afternoon to your listeners and also to my friends and family in Westmoreland, in particular Manning School and Lennox Pickles and Darlington. Dervan, just wanted to have raised for our attention, more or less, or bring it to the attention of your listeners in terms of the story that we recently heard on nationwide with regards to the high school, Holy Cross High School, I think it was.
Holy Cross?
That Holy I think it was Holy something.
Holy Trinity.
In Kingston. Holy Trinity, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there was some holy there.
There's a Holy Cross Church.
Oh, Holy Cross Church. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Well, this is Holy Trinity High School. Mm-hmm.
Right. We're 75% of the grade 6, the first form students were reading below grade 4 levels. And the interview which took place afterwards with regards to a primary school in the area, where they were saying that the headmistress was also that the children.
The headmistress, what? We lost you. We lost you for a bit. We lost you for a bit at headmistress.
The headmistress of the primary.
Still lost that headmistress. Still lost that headmistress.
Okay. The headmistress, are you hearing me now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, are you hearing me better now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. The headmistress was saying that the children that they were receiving, headmistress of the primary school were saying that the children that they were receiving from the basic and infant school were also coming in at very poor levels in terms of reading. And so it was just a progression for the most part in terms of it was just passing through. And so I really think that we need to have some pressure need to be brought on the system as to there need to be a pause somewhere and see how we can ensure that we identify these schools which are not performing, and certainly take some corrective actions.
We sorry to cut you, but there are some stories that we take from the archives. I say we, generally, those in media, those in journalism, in the newsrooms. Stories are rehashed from time to time. So they're telling us things that we already know and have known for some time ago. I humbly submit that the approach, especially when it comes to education, needs to be more of the kind where we're being encouraged, all of us, to get in the fight for education. I didn't even mean to put it that way, but a sort of empowerment of our educators, encouragement of our students, engaging in workshops, voluntary work, etc. In other words, just creating a mission, a drive, a movement. Maybe some people might say something like Jamal back in the day when there was the Jamal movement. So with what we have known for some time now, the thinking has to be, whoever is going to be a part of this and is a part of it, for example, the committee or the commission that was set up with Orlando Patterson and company. It has to be that approach. It can't be some of the ways I've been hearing people going about it and say, yeah, them school, yeah, this kind of school and that, as opposed to just rolling up our sleeves and say, look, I want to be a part of the solution because this is education we're talking about. That it must be a different approach, a different tact.
Right. So as you know that, I guess I can speak for you and I personally in that we have been more or less been involved in our school. Well, certainly our high school, because to be honest, I haven't really been involved in with my infant school or primary schools. But as you rightly mentioned, that is in the archives, and you mentioned the Orlando Patterson report, which wasn't the first one. So I think what I gathered, there are about 3 or 4 other reports that preceded the Orlando Patterson Matheson report, which was basically saying the same thing. So the question is, we know that can I say the government who are directly involved aren't really doing what they need to do to solve the problem. We know that the teachers, they seem to be overcome by what the situation is because they, I don't want to say negative. Let me put it this way: the desired results aren't being achieved. So with that said, like we know what the problems are. I believe we know what the problems are. And so is it that we, the citizens of Jamaica, need to now start put pressure on the government to put in place the solutions?
Yeah, by all means, by all means. But the overarching point is, whatever we do must be done in the best interest of our children.
Taken for granted. That's taken for granted. At all stages, it will be taken for granted.
Hold a moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for the NLA and You, a program that examines the National Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's the NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better.
Que ahora es en español, son las 5:29, que la retire en français, les 5:29. 现在提点了5点29分. 29 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Right. So, Steve, the point we're making is leadership is critical. And it's going to take that and a lot more for those of us who genuinely care about the education of our children and the impact that that can have on our society as a whole. Are you there?
I agree. Yes, I'm here. I totally agree with you. And I agree with that leadership is critical, but I think that Jamaicans have been dormant or muted for too long, and because it's not as if we don't hear. It's not as if that we've not had a minister of education. It's not as if we haven't had the Ministry of Education for the last 40 years. It's not as if that they have not made numerous announcements. And even recently with this last thing that we heard, there have since been announcements this week. But we hear the announcements, and then we get the reports, and then we realize, oh, it's pretty much the same as 40 years ago. So, and the leadership, I would presume, have been there. We've had very good leaders. The MPs who have represented education, or the member of parliaments who have represented education, have been stalwarts, if we can, on their own. So the good leadership have been there, and one would not question the permanent secretary and all of those people and say that they're bad leaders. But at the end of the day, the results aren't there, and I think the results aren't there because we're quiet. Everybody is really quiet. The uptown and the others, the people, the movers and the shakers, they're not necessarily confronted with those issues because they can afford to send their children to schools that are producing the desired result, or they're selling them abroad. So, but at the same time, when we always look at Singapore and say, okay, why Singapore is doing so well? And one of the most significant reason was education. And when we look at other countries that their population is relatively educated, they don't suffer from the amount of crime and things that we have, and they're a lot more productive.
Yeah,
so
they have a different culture than we do.
Right. So that is, but part of that culture comes from the education. I always said.
But education is a part of culture, is a way of life. So
yes, you're correct about that. I've always said that you won't find an educated man. You would hardly ever find an educated person on a truck going into on those political campaigns and all of that, right? Or hanging out to the bus and so forth. I've always said that sometimes, sometimes the people are probably kept uneducated so they can be misled politically. But anyway, we need to, those of us who know better, I think have to become more strident. And on a daily basis and in every way of our life, whenever we go to church, we have to appeal to our pastor to be more vocal. We have to appeal to the different ones, and our employers to be more vocal in all aspects of life.
And we have to appeal to members of the diaspora like you, Steve, to by all means help us to make some more noise.
Yes, and members of the diaspora to you're right about that, because you're 100% correct about that, because it comes right back around. The person who's in areas where there is more education, there isn't as much crime. So, if one believes that I really don't care about all of this, we find that they have to now be confined to their houses. They can't even come out and go for even stroll along there they can't even come out in their yard in the evening because they're afraid that they're going to be robbed or killed. So, we are misguided when we think that I don't really need to care because I can send my child away or I can put my child in a private school or one of the top schools. So, we just have to get more vocal and insist that we certainly need more schools in the affected areas, because in an area like South, children in Sav are being sent to Nakalvo, which is probably about an hour drive away, because they didn't pass for any of the school in Sav. So they're being sent out to Nakalvo in Hanover area, I think, and even to Monmouth in Darlaston. And, so it makes it's just a lot more difficult to learn. And I can't see why, for the life of me, like they do in other areas where you go to the closest high school to where you live. So a child wouldn't leave from Darlaston because they got a good score and go to Mannings. They would go to Monmouth, which is in the area. And so with that, you build up the high school and get them to that level where it doesn't make a difference if they go to a Monmouth or if they go to a Manning school or if they go to a Holy Trinity or they go to a KC, because we have them at that level. And I think it's an indictment on the ministers to know that you have these type of schools that are there. And, the disparity is not very encouraging at all in terms of what is happening, and when we look at the future of our people.
Yes, you're onto something, and but it's going to take. I mean, it's another cliche, but it's going to take all hands on deck, because
all voices, we have to be more vocal, Dervan. We just have to, everyone just have to, and don't accept it any longer. We've sat down, and I've seen this for the last 40, 50 years. I've seen in my era, I've seen a Mon McLeod, I've seen a Grange Hill primary, I've seen a Green Island primary, right? I've seen the different ones. I saw what it was with what was senior school, now Godfrey Stewart High School. But they and this is where you mentioned all hands on deck. I must say, in Godfrey Stewart, in Savlamar, they were able to turn around that school. Right, they were able to turn around that school because of the strong leadership.
So it can be done, and when we find those who have performed as such, these individuals must then be encouraged to share their skills, their talents, their know-how, their leadership, to shine those lights in areas of darkness as far as education is concerned.
But it definitely need, as you mentioned, all hands on deck, yes, but it definitely need a concentrated approach and effort. Look into the areas where the schools are. In Westmoreland, for example, and I may be wrong, but I don't see, looking at my local area in Darlington, I don't see where they have increased the number of classrooms for children. And if you have a situation where children are learning, it doesn't make sense that you have 30, 40 children in one class and they're not learning. Break it out, and so that you have manageable sizes that you can help.
Yeah.
And not just a rush through system, because it's going to come back up, because the same person who's not educated is going to pass through the system, become an adult, and go into crime and come back and kill the same way.
Your position is clear. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much, Dervan, and all the best. I hope we can get this resolved.
And so say all of us.
Bye.
Thank you. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Just trying to get in as many of these text and these WhatsApp messages, as many of them as possible, quickly. This one says, good day, sir. Why don't we start this British reparation by stop paying and supporting the GG office? Save that money that we are using to maintain him, because why pay him to represent the king? Isn't that a sign of madness? Thank you very much for your message on WhatsApp. Another one for the constitutional reform debate. Here's another message. I am encouraging all road users to make safety be the number one priority while driving on the nation's roads. Coming from Rohan Johnson, Atlas Ocherius, clocking in, he says. And another one, well, Bunty has left a voice note, which we haven't been able to listen to just yet. This one says, good afternoon, Dervan. In the area of trade unionism at the moment, it seems only Mr. Vin Morrison and his deputy, John Levy, are doing anything substantial to help the workers of this country. I pray God's health and strength on them on this tireless and difficult task. Some only sit in the Senate and clap desk and be on behalf of the government, while only silent whimpers are heard from others. God's blessings on Vin Morrison from Jax in Jacksonville. Thank you very much for your message, Jax in Jacksonville. Clifford says, good day, Dervan. I would like to invite Jamaicans to ask Google on their phones, tablets, and computers about the difference between PAR system and presidential system. PAR, what's that? Or you mean parliamentary, all right, parliamentary system and presidential system. I do not see it working in Jamaica because a lot of the politicians not going to change. I watched the Barbados ceremony, not in Jamaica. There is no opposition to oppose the president. Jamaicans, read Google, keep strong, Dervan. Thanks for your message, Clifford. Let's see if we can get in another message before the break. Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Only 21% of Jamaicans ask the PM and his government to take on the job. Neville is correct when he said that if we did a cost-benefit analysis on the PM and his government, we would find out that they are costing the country and the people of Jamaica much more than they offer to us Jamaicans. How much does this government cost us in corruption? Asks this messenger. Thank you for your message. Don't have a name there. Let's go to the break and come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5 menos 15. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5 heures moins 15. 现在几点了？5点加15分. 15 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Crocs in Black River says, good day, Dervan. Could you do me the favor of playing the hit song by Shaka Demus and Pliers, which goes Murder, She Wrote, Pretty Face and Bad Character, as your theme song one day? I think it's a very relevant song for what is taking place in a certain segment of Jamaica at the moment, from Crocs in Black River. All right, we'll be on the lookout, Crocs in Black River, to see if we can identify what that is about. But thank you for your message. Here's another one. Hi, Mr. Malcolm. I don't know how many Jamaicans will be watching that crowning tomorrow. Certainly not me. I am so disappointed in the British people for being so accepting of Camilla. It should have been Queen Diana's day tomorrow. What a regal queen she would have been. Were it not for what Charles and Camilla did to her, she would probably have been happily alive today. My heart cries for her. That woman should never be called queen. There are other words more appropriate to call her. Shameful. I am glad our PM realized, in light of the fact we want to get rid of the monarchy, he could not attend the shameful spectacle. He would have been severely criticized by Jamaicans. They need to repay us for what we suffered at their hands, says this message. Let's go to another. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Robert made a fool of herself. Robert? Who's that? Made a fool of herself today, coming defending the same politician who be mistreating the Jamaican people for the last 60 years. I'm very disappointed in Robert. He needs new ideas. I'm sorry, I have no idea what that is about. This message from Franklin McDonald in Guelph, Canada, says, Dervan, here is a coronation trivia question for you. Can you name the only Jamaican who was invited to and was present at the coronation of Haile Selassie? Obviously, of Haile Selassie. That's who was the Jamaican present by invitation of the coronation of Haile Selassie. I'm not getting this, Franklin McDonald. Maybe you need to give us a little more information. But we know a Jamaican who perhaps was there. We could take a good guess, and that would be Una Marson. Una Marson. Unamarson. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine says, Dervan, Malcolm, safe journey back home. Thank you, Ricardo. Same to you. As well, in case you had left home. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Can you get Bridgeport Police to monitor the stoplight at Germain Road and Port Henderson Road? No one seems to respect the light, green or red. Thank you for pointing that out, Ellerid Johnson. All the very best. Let's continue with more here on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Taki Lemqua has been doing a lot of writing. Let's see. Taki Lemqua says Jamaica is so blessed with many areas of natural beauty for recreation. We know of the Rockfort Mineral Bath, but what about others located in or near the corporate area? However, one that is on my mind and highly ignored is the mineral brackish springs of the Duhenny River that originate from the foothills of Plantation Heights. After the sewage plant of Duhenny Park had been abandoned, there has been little or no report on the contamination level of that water source. Dervan, that river is blessed with various marine life, one of which are the cleaner fishes that will clean one's body. With the industrial developments close by, I hope the river won't be a dump for any waste material. Where's the rest of the message? For any waste material. The river is also blessed in marine life that is straight from the sea besides the crocodiles. I'm very concerned for the area because of my experience there as a youth enjoying the ambience. That's over 30 years. Fast forward, I just don't know the current situation there, why I'm highlighting such. Is that area as well as the area south of the Mandela Highway from 6 miles heading towards Spanish Town looked at? I think adjoining areas close to that area to the south are major prospects for fish rearing because of the diversity of marine life from both the Duhenny River and the freshwaters of Ferry River. Did you know that on both sides of the Mandela Highway from 6 miles were the sugarcane plantations of Caymanas before being abandoned? By the way, those cleaner fishes mentioned earlier are known locally as tiki tiki. Their behaviors are different from others elsewhere. Oh, that was quite something. Thank you very much, Taki Lemqua, for all that information. Let's see. Carol says, I'm so sad they killed my favorite restaurateur in St. Anne. We're so sorry to hear that, Carol. Sincerest condolences. Terribly sorry to hear that. And she's asking for our WhatsApp number. Well, the one assigned to me is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. She says, this crime thing is ridiculous. Who will help us? We just cannot continue this way. Such a beautiful place. Oh, dear. And Norman Hines says, good evening. Good afternoon, Norman Hines. Still afternoon here at 32 Lyndhurst Road. Thank you very much for your messages. Keep them coming. 876-922-4112-5. That's 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well, 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. Kenyan pastor suspected in cult deaths to remain jailed is one of the stories trending right now. There's a picture of a plane that crashed. Civil Aviation Authority to probe St. Mary plane crash. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority says its accident investigation team has been deployed to commence the field component of the probe of today's crash of a small plane in St. Mary. Police personnel at the scene have secured the site. Other stories doing the rounds. 24-year-old man charged over fatal shooting at party in Manchester. Nigerian senator wife jailed in UK for organ harvest plot. Oh dear. British man held over cocaine seizure at Sangster Airport. Baby allegedly killed after being thrown from an apartment in St. Vincent. And the king's coronation draws apathy, criticism in former colonies. Those are some of the trending stories at this time here on your program. Both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And we're taking note of the external trade bulletin. As at December 2022, it just popped up and being downloaded. Wonder how much has changed since the last one. Remains to be seen. So the downloading exercise is on the way. I'm not sure we'll be able to share the information right now because we are getting close to the end of today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. So can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care. Bye.
listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now